All right, so that still looks okay. All right, so give me 1 second, share my screen one more time. So WordPress news, really the only one I want to share is it's about tonight, because even if you read the event information, so WordPress 7 is scheduled to go live tomorrow, the 20th. One of the big features in WordPress 7 was supposed to be this whole thing around real-time collaboration. So if you think of something like, Google Docs, something like that, where multiple people can work on, let's say, a post at the same time, and you can see cursors moving around and people, updating things at the same time. Well, that kind of got pulled last minute, which really delayed this WordPress 7 release. In fact, I think the release was supposed to go live last month, I believe, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So due to that, there have been a couple of these additional release candidate things. So tonight, like I was saying, for folks who haven't joined, release candidate 5 just came out an hour ago. So I've updated. Peter, did you update yours?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, so fingers crossed. We'll have a demo as long as that doesn't crash. But some of the concerns around this real-time collaboration were due to there were some, I'd say, performance issues primarily, like server load. It seemed to be like a lot of the stuff that was happening was kind of chattiness between the clients and the servers. A lot of hosting companies were very concerned about that. And like I said, it was a bit, let's say, controversial, the small c, because a lot of people, we've talked about this before, really questions its value, like how many people really needed this feature or requested it. So my understanding, I could be wrong, and someone else correct me on this, is it's not that this feature is going away entirely. It's likely to come in a point release at some point. I don't know when, but so we're not done with it yet, but that's my understanding. So did anyone hear anything different about that? Peter, did you hear anything like?
Well, I think I think there's still going to be discussion. They had made such a big deal about, and I say they, it is the release team, it's Matt Mullenweg, it's WordPress core developers, how important this collaboration tool is. Many of us, me especially, would argue that this is should be a plugin because of exactly what they ran into, which is, yeah, to be able to see what somebody else is doing at the exact same time, you got to be talking back and forth to the servers, and that was slowing things down. And then they're like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to put in that table to kind of keep track of what's everything's
All right,
going on.
yeah,
That
yeah.
still has server. So there's still an argument to be made that says, should it be a plugin? Should it be off by default? Little
Right,
things
right.
like that. So I am not convinced that it's absolutely going to come in any form, because there still might be opportunity for discussion, and I
Okay.
think, yeah.
So
So
more to come, I guess, on
more to
that. Yeah,
yeah.
more to come. So anyway, but there's still enough to talk about today, obviously.
Oh yeah,
So anyway, but
definitely.
that's kind of big news that the real-time collaboration has dropped. So part of that too, if you go back and watch some older YouTube videos showing WordPress 7, a lot of them will include that. So that's just so you know
Yeah.
that that's no longer true. So let's jump into a tool or a quick tool plugin
Yep.
spotlight, and then we'll go into the meat of WordPress
Yep.
7. So
Let me grab the screen and I will show
yeah, I think
you
I made you.
uh, Zoom window share that one. So it's funny, we were talking about browser and what browser you're using. So what I'm going to show you today is a Chrome extension in the Google Store, or the Chrome Web Store. So if you have a Chromium based browser, this should work. Interesting, it does not work in Firefox without some tweaking or whatever, but it is for a testing playing environment. This is kind of a pretty cool thing, and it's just a simple browser extension called the WP Playground Preview. And what this allows you to do is it just adds a functionality to when you are in the WordPress plugin and theme repository to be able to quickly try something out. Now, in the repository, a developer could actually put a link themselves into a playground. And for those who don't know what the playground is, it is a tool that basically loads a website in your browser that functions completely like a WordPress website. It's pretty amazing, and I think we're going to do. I'd like to do an extended meetup just on what you can do with this with Playground. So, normally when you go into the repository and you look at something, you would look, say, hey, here are plugins, here's themes. I look at it and I'm like, okay, I can download it, or I could try it on a website, things like that. So this is typically what happens when you grab, and I'll put the link afterwards into the chat. But when you grab the Playground preview, and I've got it already activated on this. This is now, that was in incognito mode where I didn't have the extension working. But now when you go into here, what you can do, if you're looking at it, now we have links that say try in Playground, and this is very cool, which I'll show you, which is add to the Playground list. In fact, I have things in the Playground list that I will clear that. And so if I wanted to just go to this particular plugin, and I'm in the repository, I click the button that it now appears because of this extension for my browser. When I go to, it'll open up an instance of Playground, and that plugin will be installed and it will be active. So now you can go in and test that, which is very cool. But what's also where it gets kind of really cool is, say you're looking at a theme, you're going, let me, and Sue, you and I could talk later about the whole cadence issues going on now. But say you said, maybe I want to try the theme Bloxy. You're looking at themes, so you go here and you say, all right, try and Playground, but I want to do a few things, so I'm going to add it to my Playground list. And now I'm going to go into plugins, and maybe I want, and this is at the top are the featured plugins. This is something we talked about earlier, where now it's a curated list of 8 plugins every few weeks being changed. But say you wanted to try one of these plugins, like, oh, I don't know. Oh, this is fun, and this will take another one, but I'll show you. So, yeah, say you wanted to try desktop mode, I can add that to my Playground list, and just for fun, just to show you, if you wanted to go to, let's just take one that we know, cadence blocks, and see, this is a good example. If the developers already put a link, that will override this extension. At least for now. So right now I can't add it to the list. But say I've added cadence would be maybe SEO Press. I want to look at it and add to my Playground list. Now I've got this little link that shows up because of this extension. I click on that and I say, okay, in my list, which is showing me up here, and I can manage that. And so open in Playground. And when I do that, it goes in, it opens up Playground, it downloads those plugins, and it activates them. And this is the. Have you tried desktop mode?
No, let's save that for the summer thing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I will not go into desktop mode, but you can see the plugins installed are desktop mode and SEO Press, which I clicked on, and my theme is Bloxy, and you could just try it and play with it and just use it. But what's kind of really cool is, if you're somebody who goes into the repository and you want to try something, or say you wanted to try one of the free form plugins, just go create a list and then open up an instant in maybe the theme that you use and say, well, which one do I like? I think it's really cool. And now it's just there for me to go, oh, what does this one do? What does this one look like? Again, if I had just clicked try and Playground, it would open up an instance of Playground with just that plugin I have. But yeah, so that is the WP Playground preview.
Cool. And that's a Chrome extension, but I know Chrome extensions also work for, well, some of them work for Brave. I don't know if they also work for Firefox.
Yeah. I don't know the Chromium browsers.
So any Chromium-based browser, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Edge.
Google
Yeah.
Chrome, Edge, Brave, Opera,
Cool.
Yeah, quite a few. Not Firefox, and there's another big one that's popular. But anyway,
Safari. Yeah, Safari's the other wacky one there.
Right.
All right. Cool.
There may be versions for that in those stores. I don't have familiarity with it.
Yeah. All right. Good deal.
All right. I will stop sharing, although I might grab the screen later on, depending on.
Let me jump into, so we're going to do this kind of, again, we don't practice these things anymore. We're going to bounce back and forth. So Peter, it's either things that you find interesting or people put things into, if they want to put things in chat, could be things that if we miss something, we'll save time to go back to anything we've missed.
Yeah.
I'll put this, or I don't know if you have this as well, Peter, too. I can put this into the chat just to say we're either going to follow along a little bit with this. So this is the WordPress 7.0 field guide, or this is from that Gutenberg Times as well, the source of truth. So
Right.
this really
Because
has a deep dive into everything. So for folks who are interested, I can put them in the chat when it's not my turn, or if you have them as well, Peter, if you want to put them in the chat. So
well, yeah, I will. And what I also have when I pull it over is I have, like usual, three versions of
yeah,
AI generated
right, of course.
presentations, but they're nice because
Yeah.
it's to prompt us to look at some of the kind of the key
And
things.
I've got my old set of notes. So how about
There you
if
go.
I'll let me start first because just 'cause I got the screen. I'll do probably the least interesting one, and then I'll bounce it to you. I'm not going to touch the AI stuff at all, Peter. I figured that's your domain. So if you want to touch that,
I'm not. I think we want to save that one, other than to say that
okay.
there's. We'll show the
Well, you
connector and
show,
other than
yeah, you
that,
show and
yeah,
talk. So,
yeah.
so let me start with really the first thing, which is this idea of a modernized dashboard. So, what does that mean? So, the WordPress admin, and I'm going to show, I have two sites, two demo sites. I'll show the old WordPress 6.9, then the 7.0 bleeding edge release candidate 5 version. Hopefully, nothing broke with that. So, what they've done is some parts are subtle, some parts are maybe less subtle. But basically, the back end WordPress admin has been given a new color scheme. So a lot of this is really styling. It's kind of think of it as like CSS. So it makes, the fonts will be bolder. There's more contrast, typography changes. I mean, look, to me, I do like being an older person these days. I do do things like that for myself on like my phone and things like that. I'll just, bump up the contrast. So I do appreciate it. I'll give some other opinions on it a little bit later. And then there's some also very subtle things, very, very subtle. I'll show that too about the way the screens are kind of painting when you transition between screens. So you have to look real close when I do that. So let me just show you again. This is probably the first thing you'll notice though when you get in. So I've got two sites again. I got one demo site that's WordPress 7.0 release candidate 5, and then this one has 6.9.4. So here's right. It's kind of hard to see right now, but if let me go to the dashboard, it's probably a little bit clearer there because there's a little bit more black background. If I just go to the regular dashboard, so here's the WordPress admin backend that most people are familiar with. Kind of light grayish. You hover over things, and you hover over like a menu. You can see that it gets highlighted and through a color, et cetera, et cetera. Your menu choice. Well, with 7.0 it's a bit bolder. So for example, you can see these are, I'd say, bolder. The colors are a bit brighter. Even the hover things a little bit brighter, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more, like I said, it's subtle, but when you first see it, you're kind of like, something looks different. I think even things like the WordPress news and events, if I'm not mistaken. So like the highlighting of the tables down here is now a little bit more contrast, things like that. So easier on the eyeballs, kind of. The one that's really, really subtle, like I said, is in terms of transition things. So if I go back to, this is 6.9, if I go look at, where is it? Settings, for example. So I'm clicking between settings, general, settings, writing. You see how the screen is flashing kind of between them, settings, reading, et cetera, et cetera. Well, 7.0, this is where, 7.0, if I go between writing, reading. You, it's just more like it's kind of a fade almost. You can see it sort
Mhm.
of fading in very slightly. That's kind of it. I mean, my quick 2 cents on this. Honestly, we're going to spend just a minute on this at the most. My quick 2 cents though is I don't mind it. I mean, this is okay. I don't know why it took so long, but also my other 2 cents is I thought we were going towards a future where the admin was going to look more like full site editing. So and again, both these sites have the same theme. So what I mean by that is, and I don't know if Peter or Sue,
Yep.
others, know about this, but I thought we were actually heading more towards this version eventually for our back end admin. I don't think it's ever been stated publicly, but I thought I'd been reading various articles that said this is what our admin screen is
Yeah.
eventually going to look like.
Well,
So it's
this is
still,
when you
it feels
when you
weird
hear
to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, all right, we're doing all that stuff on this old side, but the new side is still looks the same.
so the design of the menus and all, while it's higher contrast and it is a little bit better, this is first of all, it's the default, right? So you can go into your user profile and change your colors to any number of schemes, including the old one. So
Yeah,
the old scheme is still available. I forget what it's called, but it has a name.
yeah.
Um,
This
this is
one is
now,
called Modern is the new name.
yeah. This is the new default. It's nothing quite not it's CSS that just has changed it. The transitions and things like that. One thing to note, because I test on accessibility, things like does a website respect the fact that some people don't like things to move around?
Yeah,
And if you have your computer set up to prefer not using motion, those transitions will not work. And one of the reasons I took it off is depending on what you're doing. Sometimes the changes are not smooth and they kind of flash into weird things.
they
So I
don't
found
refresh.
that.
But yeah,
And what you were talking about is, I think they call it data views, which
yeah,
is that black and white. Again, I don't know because another bit of news that who knows may relate to this is there's a team of people who have been given the green light to um, redesign WordPress.org. So maybe there's a set of designers ready to go wild on everything. That I don't know. That's
yeah.
speculation, but since they're looking at it, but yeah.
So anyway, first thing you'll notice, and again, it took me a second to even know something was different. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is. So that's it. I take the low hanging fruit then for
Okay.
next week.
All right. So just so that you can see what I've done, let me bring this down and let me bring I got this just for fun. These are my kind of AI generated notes that are actually kind of pretty helpful. This is Perplexity's version with all some neat little things. This is the chat, yeah, no, Claude version and how it brings in. So I said, go take apart. So we get into all kinds of level of detail. I'm not going to go through everything, but just in case we want to kind of get some ideas, Perplexity, and this is Chat GPT's version. Again, looking at the field guide and the source of truth and a few other key posts that really get into breaking things down. So if I look at this one here, in terms of the admin improvements, one thing that I think is worth showing would be and I'm going to put this off to the side. I can bring it back again. I'll bring this over. Is so a couple of things. One is that command palette, right? So the command palette is it's been there, but it's something that people don't think about. Basically, there's a link up here to open up the command palette, which then gets you to remind, it's either Command K or Control K to bring that up. And this actually does come pretty handy because I'll show like another one that's been added to the admin is a dedicated fonts page. And if you go, oh, wait a minute, where's that fonts page? And you just type in fonts, you go, okay, go to appearance fonts. Oops, why did that happen? That's interesting. Maybe that was an upgrade problem. um,
Try picking something that's in just the core, maybe.
yeah. So go to you want to go to your user profile. So
Yeah.
user profile. Have a look. This is an example of
Hold on, that's just what Sue was asking. I'm glad you went there.
what's that?
Sue was just asking that in the chat. How do you change the administrative color schemes?
There,
That's where it is
there
right
you
there.
go.
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
under your user profile,
yeah.
right? And so now the default one, and which one did we say was the fresh was the original, and now we are
I think
on.
so. Yeah, now we're on
Yeah,
modern or something. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that command, that Control K, just having it as a link there. Um, when you get in the habit, it does become a lot easier than go, wait a minute, where is that thing where I go settings?
Yeah.
Is it reading? And did I set the search engine visibility versus, and I'm kind of curious if I do this, if I do search engine, is it going to show me that link? Nope. But it's showing, it's interesting. It will show posts that have that word in it, which
Yeah.
gets to be kind of interesting, but it would be under reading. And then you would go to reading thing. But so that's kind of a
What
cool thing.
I'm not sure if we can mention it for this one, Peter, but
Yeah.
for me, go press the Control K or the either one, or press it on the menu. That's funny. Well, type in something else if you don't mind. Just some whatever,
Um,
something similar, I guess, to what you're. So it for me, it saved my previous shortcuts. Did it do that for you?
no, but I
I
wonder if that's a browser, like a browser caching thing
it's
versus
it's
a,
funny. Yeah, let me do
yeah,
oops, hold on. I'm just trying it real quick to make sure I wasn't. No, yeah.
yeah.
Let
But
me
if
let me
you're
grab my
if you're
screen. Can I grab
if
the
you're a
screen for a
keyboard
sec?
person, you can navigate everything. Just this is arrow up and down. Um, check your themes. But yeah, it's quite handy.
Let me.
Um,
Oops. Sorry, were you doing that one? And can I? Let me just show real quick.
I was gonna do one more.
Let me show real quick though before you leave
Oh,
that one to
yeah.
show you what was
Oh,
happening on mine. Sorry.
okay. You want to take it?
Yep, I think I have it right. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
You see my screen? So Peter, when I do Control Command K, I have my recent ones in there. That's not my browser, I don't think.
Interesting.
Isn't that odd?
I
So if
I
I say instead of permalinks, I'll say users, whatever, um, user profile, and then when I come back, I hit Control K again. Now it has both of those in my recent.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yours didn't. I was surprised yours didn't do that.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up and see if that is based on how this looks. It does feel like it should be
It looks like this is
a
this is
WordPress thing. It's not.
yeah, yeah.
It's yeah,
Uh,
interesting. All right,
sorry, back to you.
back to me. All right, so I will do another one. And if anybody's got any questions or something, especially if there's something that you
Okay.
definitely want to see.
No, Elisa was asking, does it just work only in WordPress 7? No, I think they added that back in one of the sixes, six something. So yeah,
The
six
command
nine.
palette.
The Command K. The thing that's new is that now it actually shows up in the admin bar. But yeah,
That's what's changed in 7.
yeah,
They're just trying to make it more front and center. I think it either went in 6.9 or 6.8. It was,
yeah.
and before that, it was plugins have been doing that. There's been different plugins for that.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is that making it kind of front and center up here is what's been added. The another thing I wanted to look at, again, I'll just bring this over so you can see what I'm looking at. Do you want me to talk a little bit about the fonts as part of admin?
Whichever one you want to do next, and then I can do visual revisions. I had a little
You're going
thing
to do
set for
revisions?
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, good. So managing fonts depending on it could be dependent on themes and things like that. So, but if you're using, for example, core blocks, so this would not be using like a cadence blocks that already has kind of font stuff built in. But say I've got um, a page. Let me out of here. How do I get there? We go. All right. So say I've got kind of a post here, and say I'm adding a paragraph. Adding a paragraph. Now, as a core block, if I come over here, if I look under typography, I don't have a font choice here as a core block. It's pulling the fonts from the theme. If I go to the dashboard, and here I'll use Command K because I don't remember it's under appearance. So under fonts, there's different ways that you can load fonts. Um, you can upload it, but you can do something as simple as install a font. And say I wanted to install, I don't know, just to make it obvious, the infamous lobster font, right? So say I wanted the lobster font, and I go, okay. So now I have a way to manage fonts, and this is both in a classic theme and a block theme. And right now, you've seen me do everything in a classic theme. There are some things that are specific to the block full site editing theme. But now under here, if I install it, so give it a second, it should. Now I have lobsters loaded as an installed. So fonts custom, this list was empty. I've now added this. If I wanted to remove it, I could click on what's in my library. I could highlight it. And then down here is the delete button for that. But now that I've installed this, and this is installed, so this is no longer, it's not pulling it off of Google, the whole GDPR privacy issue where it's like, oh, I'm getting everything from Google. It's now it's loaded on my site. And now if I come back to this, let me save this. So set paragraph.
Wonder if you need to refresh to make it find it.
Peter, so you no longer have to go into the editor and then go into styles to add a font?
Right.
Well, I don't know if that's good because
yeah.
what about your clients? You don't want them adding fonts. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the things that we're going to make sure that we have is sort of the list of how to turn things on and off.
Okay. Because, yeah, that does not something I want my client to do.
Yeah, and I don't know if I have not experimented honestly with. We can because I actually have a plugin running right now to say, okay, if you are an editor or if you are an author, what's turned off? My guess is that's going to be turned off. That you can.
When you say turned off, do you mean turned off just in the admin window?
Yes, not allowing you to manage fonts.
How, I guess, how do you stop somebody from managing fonts though?
Is that done in the FSC editor? Or is that do you have to add a plugin for roles?
Yeah, I added the visibility plugin because I'm about to launch one of my client sites and I was like, no, we're not letting them do all this.
So
It's just not going to let them do it.
but I guess the one thing I'm curious about, this goes back to the Command K. So Command K, I'm saying if you're just hiding it from an admin screen standpoint, can they still get to it through that new Command K button?
I'll try it right after.
Yeah, yeah.
So now that the paragraph, so now I have a font choice here because I added a font to my local library, and so when I click on that, and clicking on that now shows it. Here's another thing I don't know if you're going to talk about, but this right toolbar, there's been some modifications there.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, to make, and we can get into specific ones where it's trying to organize things better, like all the appearancey things being in the appearancey tab kind of stuff, because sometimes they're all over the place. But now, see, I have that lobster font available to me because I added the font locally. So if I wanted to save that, but let's take a quick look while if people are asking. I am curious now. I probably have too many things. I am now working local, which is working faster, but now I wonder if I've got too much going. Okay, so let me go back to here. Let me go to my dashboard. Let me go to view as, and I'm going to view as an editor. This is I'm using.
That's also new, isn't it?
No, this is his.
This is I'll show you what that is a choice under plugins, admin, and site enhancements. This is the free version. And in that plugin, you can do things like turn on and off a number of stuff instead of using, and I think under admin, I have somewhere in here, I forget where, but there's the ability to turn on a view admin as role, and then you can decide, you can test that. So just having this one plugin that has all these options, turning on that. So then what that allows us to do is say, okay, if I were not screen options, if I were a editor, So now it's telling me I'm viewing as an editor and still me, so I don't have to use another. But now this is what the editor sees. You see, I don't have all those other choices.
Right, yeah.
But
Let's see if I do this and I do font. It's not available to me.
okay, that's
So
good.
it's an
So it is
admin
really
on.
role-based security. Okay, good.
Yeah. So it's role based. If you want to, and that role based, then if you wanted to give it to certain levels, then you would need a role manager, which is another plugin world that we could talk about in another thing. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
ended up just adding Nick's block visibility thing, but I didn't know if that would do with fonts until Sue mentioned her Mr. Google comment.
Yeah, Sue has some questionable code
Yeah.
from
It,
Google.
it says use with caution.
Yes, not on your production site. Try that in staging first.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, but that's a neat thing to be able to now manage the local fonts,
Yeah.
uploading, because different tools also have ways of like uploading, managing the fonts. This honestly actually is very, very easy. And if you have the font file that maybe is not a Google font that you got from somewhere else that you're able to use, some web font, you can upload it and use that too and add it to make fonts available to your website.
Cool.
But yeah, it is an admin unless you change roles and things like that. It is an admin thing.
Are you back at being the admin on that site?
I am. Yep.
Can you show, is uploading fonts theme dependent or is it a WordPress tool?
It's a WordPress.
Where? Is
under
It was under appearance.
it appearance?
fonts.
Oh, this is 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This,
Lost my
this-
mind. Sorry.
yeah, this is 7, but like now I don't like lobster, so I'm going to take lobster out. I'm going to highlight that, hit delete, and now
Okay.
it's gone. And now what's interesting is that page will probably have something different.
Would
There,
you just click on upload, please?
Sure.
Upload font. I just want. Oh, so it's telling you can upload TTL. Oh, God. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Drag and drop a zip file, I guess. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you can't
Yeah.
do it as
Raw.
a zip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have the raw
It needs to-
details.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. Oh, that's cool.
Let me grab. What's burning through is a bunch of these. I think this is kind of the theme of no pun intended theme of like WordPress 7. There's a lot of little things like this that they're interesting. So, interesting enough. I mean, so this one is visual revisions. So just a quick reminder of what revisions looked like in 6. Hold on, I have 2 demo sites are called almost the same thing, which is kind of stupid. So this is the old 6.9.4. So I'll just take an existing post and I'll change something here. So this is my existing blog post. Here it is, text, save it. I'll add something else. I'll add a button of some kind. I'll say, with me, I'll make that just so I won't go too far with this. So anyway, just 2 changes. So normally when you view, this goes way back to many old versions of WordPress, but you have revisions here. And if you want to see what changed between revisions for this post or page or whatever, this is the old way. You click on this, you have to do the old slider thing, and it'll show you, especially since blocks, it'll show you, the revision, not just the text, it'll show you the actual underlying block code for it. So many of us have kind of gotten used to this. It gets to be a little bit of a pain for long pages, or sometimes, you're seeing all this kind of stuff, just trying to make sense of it. So I think it's probably one of the best changes in 7.0, this idea of visual revisions. So
Yeah.
so I have a page already where I've kind of messed around with just to save time, just a blog post, but this works the same for pages. And I'll make one change here. So so again, this is just some text, some images, et cetera, et cetera. So let's do the text. I'll remove a heading, for example. Just delete the heading, save it. I've got my button here. What else can I add? I can add a gallery or something, a gallery maybe. I'll pick a couple things, these 2 pictures, whatever. Save it, etc. So I won't go crazy. You'll get the point, obviously. So when I go now to click on revisions, oh good, I got 5 of them. I forgot about that. So I must have been playing with this before. So what's cool now is this is the final version. This is what it looks like right now. If I go back a version, it shows me, what's been crossed out. So this thing was removed. And again, I'm sort of working backwards in time, which maybe looks a little bit strange. So if I start at the very beginning, this is what it originally looked like. And then next revision, I added this. So additions are highlighted. I think it's the only thing I added at that time. This got deleted. This got deleted, and here we are. And this got added. And there's a little subtle gray thing around this. So
That's kind of cool. Thank you.
yeah, I think it's nice. I think it's one of the best things. Why did it take so long to do this? Anyway,
This is great. And if you notice next to the scroll bar, the like the green that
oh, yeah.
lines up with the content that so that if you go to another
Oh,
revision,
Let me
right.
go back to, yeah.
you
Oh,
just
okay, it's red. Okay,
it that way, if especially if you're a long post, you go, what did change? Instead of
right.
that'll show you the things that changed on
So
a post.
ironically, people like myself sort of read green colorblind.
Yeah.
But I guess you just click on, oh, look at that, it brings you to what changed. So yeah, red I assume is deletion and green is addition, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I think this was a quick one. Where I approve. Not that this.
People are going to find that I think a lot of people don't use revisions because it's immediately like, why are you throwing all this code at me? And now it's like, oh,
Exactly
now I can see, wait a minute, what did I change the last time I was here? That's something that happens to me where it's like, did I put oh, I changed that one word in the heading from this to that kind of thing.
right.
So yeah,
So
exactly.
I'll throw it back to you. So that was a quick one. I have a couple more quick ones too, but I'll throw it back
Okay.
to you. You want
All
something
right. Let
after?
me grab the screen again. This. Now let's see if we go over here again. The thing I could just put it over
Good,
here.
yeah, interesting ones. Some of these I'll type.
We did these, right? I mean, not these. We did the ones on this this little presentation is kind of cool. By it says, why do these matter? It looks more consistent, new font. So features for classic. So I wanted to differentiate which ones work for classic and block themes. So now in terms of the editor and content workflow, the overview, and Ray, if there's any that you definitely want to cover, but
Let me
patterns
do.
as single design objects, especially if you have a pattern that is, if you remember what a synced pattern is, where basically the pattern, if it's put on different pages, applies to everywhere that it's placed. And I could show this, but what this basically does is, like in your list view and all, instead of seeing all the things that are in the pattern, it just says there's a pattern here. And then you can click on it and edit it. But as far as it is treated as a single thing.
I'll do
Viewport,
the custom CSS if that's okay. I think I have a little thing for that one. The custom CSS
you're going to show custom
performance. Yeah,
CSS,
I'll do
great.
that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Viewport based visibility. It's funny. I have to make sure that I see where it is, because when I was doing it before, I thought it was obvious and I didn't see it. The sidebar attribution groups that's something that it's just a matter of showing and looking at that sidebar tools. Link validation. I haven't tried it, but it's as simple as you go to put a link in it and you kind of get, hey, that link doesn't work. So
Did you
you're
get?
getting kind
Sorry.
of a preview over it. And then the universal text alignment. I didn't even see where that was, to be honest with you, Ray. I don't know if
Were you able to get viewport-based visibility working? I wasn't.
I didn't. So that's what I was going to try now. So
Okay.
let's try it.
You can
So
try. From what I read, it sounds like it's something that they're implemented the ability to do it, but I don't believe it's actually being done for the core blocks, which is kind of a little crazy to me, but
yeah.
I'll have to see that again. I saved a note about that. Probably can't find it now.
So let's go to my demo one here. Oh, I was already there.
So this, I don't know if you said it, but this is basically just that ability to show and hide things based on if it's mobile or desktop, whatever. And that's one of the things I love about like cadence blocks or cadence theme, or that's why people are familiar with page builders. That's sort of been a given for a year, quite a while in page builders, just that ability to hide things at a really granular level. But
Yeah.
so if you look at like your gallery block, if you select that.
If I select the gallery block, what we are looking for
is anything. I don't think it's there.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, because I tried it. I'm glad you're saying it, because I tried it before the call and I go, what am I missing? And I
No,
went over
and I'll have to
here.
look back. I think it's mentioned in one of the dev notes things. I'll have to see if I can find it again, Peter. But I thought I saw the developer who worked on it responded to a comment, or somebody was like, I don't know, it was something about, oh, is it going to be there for everything? And they're like, no, or they said like I think they're just giving the ability for people to do it, but.
Right. Interesting. So if anyone else has tried it and you know what we're missing, please let us know. I mean, we've been very used to either something that's been built into like a block tool that we're using, or using like their a guy named Nick Diego had a very popular block visibility plugin that gave you the option to say, okay, show or don't show this block on tablet, mobile, or desktop. That's basically what this is about in terms of the viewport based visibility. Maybe before the end of the call, I'll see if there's any notes on that.
I put it in, I found the dev note for it. So maybe when I'm doing it, if you look in there, I think that's where I saw the comment about it not working for.
Gotcha. So this is an example. This is a pattern and it's saved as a sync pattern. So it only shows this pattern that I made, and I saved these 3 blocks as a block pattern. I made it synced, so now it's saying, okay, it's but one thing instead of the things that are inside it. So it's a little, like you said, right? It's the cleaning up. It's those little like, well, improvements that you're like, why didn't they do it in the first place? Well, because it's a constant work in progress.
You're saying that the pattern, you can't open up the pattern anymore?
I can, but I'm editing the original.
You'd have to go to the original to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But as far as what it shows on the page, it shows as the single unit, as opposed to there's a pattern and there's 3 things in there, but you can't change any of those things.
Peter, is that pattern a synced pattern?
This one is a synced pattern.
Okay, so if it wasn't synced, you could edit it on the screen.
Right. If I
okay.
Where's the unsync? Do you remember where the unsync is?
Is it the 3 dots?
Go to the original.
The demo cat pattern and the 3 dots for the unsync?
On your left. Yeah.
On your left, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
So if I go here, I think this is it. Detach. It's not unsync, it's detached. When I detach it, now I'm going to see
the parts. Yeah.
Now instead of it being like a pattern, now it's just the blocks. Yeah. So
and you'd have to be an admin to be able to do that, probably, right?
Yeah, we'd have to try it. I don't know if that's like a thing to turn on and off.
Because unsynced patterns, we use them all the time.
Yeah.
Because you want people to change the words, right, but you want the layout.
Right. You're just doing a template as opposed to doing like you know what the global thing.
It's a template in FSC.
Okay. As a what do they call it? Not a partially synced, but in effect, a pattern where you can set that you can change the heading and the text, but you can't change maybe the image, or you can't change the layout of it. So that is the dynamic kind of pattern.
That's incredibly helpful for clients.
Exactly. So they can bring something in, and now this is where you change.
Oh, in some ways, it's almost duplicating why people had custom fields to begin with, or those meta boxes. Yeah. It's like that idea of building a page and having the templates there to fill it in.
Yeah, I just Control-Z to go back. Like universal text sidebar. So the sidebar attribution groups has a little bit to do with, let's just see if we've got, let me detach this so I can look, for example, the image, now, what is in the different areas, like aspect ratio is now all under the styles, as opposed to if you go to your site right now, it's in that very first tab. But now we have, and they're going to try to make this consistent. There's something called content, there's something called settings, and there's something called styles. So these 3 tabs, they're going to try to, and they have moved things under a more logical category. So all things related to styling. And in the example of an image, it would be that aspect ratio, the width and things like that, where that's all in style.
And And where would you put if you wanted to add what do you call it?
Class.
Yeah, thank you.
It's under advanced, I think, still. I'm going to show the
But it looks like
inline.
it's not in the block. So where is it?
It's in the main one, I think.
Ah,
Or is
So
it?
so in terms of what's under content, so content would be as of when the link to the image and then the alt text. So that is the content for it. So then I think under settings is where you have
advanced. Yeah.
okay, settings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of being over here styles and it was kind of over at the bottom of the right, now we're gonna have to get used to these three: content, settings, styles.
You think
Of
styles
course,
would be,
now that I just made tutorials for my client, right?
Yeah.
you think styles would be second too? Styles to me sounds like the more common things.
Yeah.
I'm nitpicking.
I
Yeah.
swear, seriously, I just was
You want to
up
grab
there.
it, Ray, and
Yeah,
talk
yeah. So this will be kind of quick, I think. So this is piggybacking off of what Peter was just showing. So this feature is the ability to put custom CSS on the block level. So what that means is if you go back to WordPress 6.9, whatever the version, 6.9.4, whatever the heck this was. Let's say I want to style either any of these core. Again, we're kind of talking core blocks because, and I'm using the 2025 theme, I think, as well. So, but anyway, so at this point, the only thing I'm able to do is add a CSS class if I want to do some additional styling. That's what the old version only let you do. With the new version, I put it in my cleverly named WP7 stuff. Now I can put CSS directly into a block to style it. So for example, I think this one I already put some stuff in here. So under advanced, I've changed this CSS. So here's what it looked like without it. And what's nice is it does show it dynamically, mostly here. So for simple ones, let's say I want to change the font size to 30 or something, it's showing me right here in the viewer what that's going to look like. So this is really in line. My understanding, I'll have to look at this again, is this is kind of in line most specific. If you're thinking CSS specificity, this seems to be the most specific targeting of an element. So in theory, I haven't tested it that much. You should not need to do things like important to get this to override stuff. Don't quote me on that. I would double test that. A funny thing I saw in the dev notes though is that this CSS actually gets saved with the block. So this is somehow either in the post metadata or someplace like that. So it's just, again, more things to be aware of, but makes sense.
I think if you look, Ray, try so if this is saved with the CSS, and you can see you don't have to put the element and all that, you just put the CSS.
Well,
if this is saved, what's that?
I said, not for this one, you don't have to pay. I'm going to show another one in a second where you do have to put an element.
Right.
Yeah.
Not for this one. If you save this and then view the HTML, let's see if
yeah, let me see this again.
Is that per CSS edit per page?
No.
Or is that
For a
global?
block? No,
No,
just for
per
this
block.
block.
No, it's
for this
just the
one.
block. I just
Yeah.
went to the page. Custom CSS on the block level.
Yeah, so
On the block, it is on the block level.
So if I look at this paragraph, there's my CSS.
Mm-hmm.
The 30
Wow.
pixels.
Uh-huh.
Well, go. Can you do me a favor and go to the page you were editing?
Yep.
And then click on the block that has this custom CSS.
Yep, it's this one.
Go to the three dots in the top toolbar.
Yep.
And go view as edit as HTML.
It just has a class, has custom CSS.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What theme is this?
This is just 20.
You said 2025?
That's a clever CSS tag.
Yeah.
What if you if you did two different blocks, what would the tag be on the second block if you change the color, not on the same block?
It's not, it's only effective. So when you say, if I do two different blocks, say that again, Sue,
So click on a different block, not the one you changed the, okay.
Yeah, or this one, yep.
Any place, gallery block demo or something, and just add some CSS to it.
Yeah, I'll say, adding
I would
Make
just
it outrageous. Okay. Now,
duplicate the
if,
block and try it differently, and you can see that it doesn't. Each block,
Because
okay,
it's
but
saved as,
what, I wanted to see the HTML and see what class it gave it.
it gives
If
it the
it's on
same.
the same page.
Oh, good point. Good point. All right. So if I look at this now, this one, I think it's going to have that. Well, if I was going to bet, I would say it's going to have that same class. But
Let's
let's
find
see.
out.
That's
Oh, where'd you go? Oh, my gallery block. Oh no, it was this guy. Sorry, it was a cover block. So that's what I was changing. Cover block. I can't view.
now you have to just do text.
Yeah. All right. You're right. Sorry. I'll leave that messed up. No, I actually want to undo that. Sorry, because that's another demo coming up in a second. It's okay. Cover block.
Yeah, just change, go down to the text
Yeah,
under
I
that
want to
block.
remove this one, and like Peter said, probably
Okay.
the easier thing to do is if I just duplicate this.
duplicate it and make it different.
Yeah. So this one, also I make this text 80 or something, 90,
Okay.
and save. So this guy, so the first one said something like has custom CSS. It's the
It's
same
a s-
class. I think there's something
Oh.
happening behind the scenes on it. So if I look at this now and refresh, so they're both having CSS applied, and if I inspect it,
Yeah.
this guy has that class, but you can see there is some root where, and
It's giving it a number.
Yeah, it's giving
Yeah.
it an ID.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
ID is
Okay.
probably some.
Yeah, I didn't see how they could do that
Right.
and
That's a
keep
good
the
question.
class the same.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Let me
Okay.
show you another one that, so as Peter was saying, that normally for certain things you don't need to, you just could put your rules in here, except the exceptions are things where it's part of a group. So for example, the button, let me show you this first. If I try just deleting this and say background color blue, and I save this. Oh, so it's actually doing just for that piece there. But if you have something that's in a group, maybe it was a background color. Oh, it's font size was the thing. There's this special symbol, just the ampersand. So in this case, if I looked at the CSS, because I was playing around with this before, it wasn't applying it down to the level of this individual button. So what I had to do is put this ampersand sign first, and then so I want the anchor link to be 20 pixels and have a background color of blue. I don't want it around the button. So what that does, that turns it into this basically. So how did I know that?
Yeah, where's that hidden?
It's in the dev notes.
Yeah, it's in the notes.
It's in the dev notes here. Nested selectors can be written using this ampersand. It's a little quirky. So again, if you need to go to that level, just know that there is a way to do it if something's
But
nested.
you're
What's
saying
this?
that you're saying that normally you can't just change that in the page, though?
No, so let me do this. So it was the font size that was throwing me. So normally I was trying to do let me copy this thing so I can screw around with it. Let me copy
Wow.
this. So normally when I was like, oh, let me just play around with this font size guy and turn them into 20 or I'm sorry, turn the font size into 60 or something like that, or 80. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's not changing this button font size. It's not turning 80. Well, the reason is because when I look at this, so again, I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around a bit here. It's because it's not specifying it down far enough. So the button is really part of this buttons class.
Yeah.
So I have to say the A element, the anchor element of the button that's why I want the font size to be bigger.
Oh, good God.
So
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's a CSS
Can you
rule.
hide that for clients?
What's that?
The answer will always be you sure can, but it might take a code snippet or
Yeah.
right. So there's that. Plus, again, we haven't gone through every test to see
Sure.
if you're an editor, what do you see but here's the thing about this particular tool. First of all, there's some people on this call, when we talk about CSS, it's not anything that interests how they do things. They use the visual builder and totally respect that and get that. There are times when sometimes I just want to do one thing on one little thing, and this is going to come in handy. Where I see it also potentially coming in handy if you're if you like CSS, if you're good at it, and you're editing a page, and you just want to tweak it where you are and tweak it where you are, and maybe you're designing the page, and then from there, now you can decide, okay, let me take that CSS and make it like a global CS or give it an actual class and things like that. So it could be used as an interim design tool, pretty handy right there, down and dirty. But now, hey, I got it the way I like, and now I want to move it over. But again, if that's also if you are somebody who is very comfortable with CSS.
Peter, can I ask a question, Peter?
Sure.
So first of all, it looks like that's a recipe for disaster if you ever take over somebody's website and the guy has gone in and done that all over the place. It's
if you have to look at something at the block level,
yeah, it's like, but so you guys are like, I'm familiar mostly with Generate Blocks. You're familiar with like Cadence or Elementor or something. Do they have, like, Generate Blocks has global styles, which offers complete block CSS control that you can share among blocks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does Cadence and Elementor have that?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, if you're writing a global CSS can live almost anywhere. So if you've got the Cadence theme, or if you have just any kind of block theme, you can go to the customizer and put in custom CSS. If you have a snippet program, you can put in custom CSS, as long as you're adding the anchor to the thing that you're working on, right? So that it knows, or if you know what it is, like I'm used to way back when with Beaver Builder that I use, like everything was already given kind of an anchor, and you can do the custom CSS. But yeah, you would basically have CSS.
And you can also do this granular level too on like Cadence. So Cadence has the same thing. So is Divi, so is Elementor. You can go into an element and say, put CSS styling just for this one element, and it won't apply anywhere else. So it's kind of, I think in some ways this is old news. Again, other builders and things have done it. Yeah. Sue had a good one too about it checking your CSS code. It sort of does. It won't tell you what's wrong. It'll tell you it's incorrect. It won't tell you how it's incorrect. So.
It'll just not work. It's not like, right.
It'll give you a warning. Yeah.
My guess is that you will. It does give you warnings. It does say there's something wrong with your structure. Right. So that's nice. Right. But what it doesn't yet have
autocomplete or
the CSS builder when you start typing in, color.
That's why I'm thinking it's create more problems than it's going to solve by an incomplete execution of the solution. I think you're relying on people's discretion in using it.
Yeah, I do not disagree with you. And in fact, a lot of times, if you're doing the in-style editing, like things like, within a paragraph block and having some of the tools where you can highlight something in there and set a color for a word, for example, those things exist now. And all that's doing is writing inline CSS and putting in its own.
I will slightly disagree with both of you of saying I think it's still a powerful tool that use with caution, but I've had to use it to fix weird things at times.
Yeah, again, if I was a CSS, if I was very, very comfortable, new CSS in and out, like what's his name, Powell, I forget his first name, who was. And there's so many new things happening with CSS cascading style sheets that there's amazing functionality coming to CSS.
Let's keep going. We only got like 20 something minutes, so let's keep moving. Yeah. So you're next. So I did that one. I don't know what else. You pick whatever else you want to cover.
I'll pick the next one. Let me grab the screen and let me grab my other screen. And I'll put my cat back up, and I will go to. My Zoom controls keep wanting to go over the stuff I'm working on. Hang on. Not that one. Well, I'll just do it. You can see what it looks like actually in Perplexity. Want to see? So we can go over the new blocks or the upgrades to it. The gallery block, the cover block. I saw, Ray, you had the cover block video. I could see that.
Yeah, they have breadcrumbs now, huh?
Yeah, do a couple of them, Peter. I was going to do the icon one just because I had some comments on that. I have some hot takes on that one.
But it looks like he added breadcrumbs, right? Is that breadcrumbs?
This is the breadcrumb block. It's as
Cool.
simple as this, right? So you can put it now if you're using like full site editing, obviously you could decide to put it in a template part, a heading, wherever you like. So if you have obviously posts, it literally, like blocks should, they pretty much work anywhere. So this one post, I've dropped the breadcrumb block in, and it's in effect. Here's your choices. Show the home breadcrumb or not. So if I turn that off, it goes away. You can see
Oh,
if I
cool.
turn it on, I see the
Mhm.
word home. Show current breadcrumbs. So I'm on a post called WordPress highlights, or don't show that. So however
That's
you
great.
like to do your breadcrumbs, and then the separator, maybe I want, this character as a separator versus the
Uh-huh.
slash. So it's pretty simple, pretty
Uh-huh.
straightforward. Again, getting used to, here's settings, and now here is styles, so we can see what the styles are. So it's size and text and color and padding and border are all things that you can edit. So that's the breadcrumbs. The
Wait,
ga-
wait a minute. Wait, where did the
wait, what?
breadcrumbs come from? Is
It's
that
It's
a
a
it's
new
a
block?
block.
it's a new block.
It's a new
So
block. Okay, because I was like, oh, that's really cool. I don't remember seeing that, but
yeah,
you're talking about something new. Okay,
so
thank
yeah,
you.
so if you go slash and you start typing in, there's breadcrumbs. That's all it is. It's a new block.
Thanks a
Awesome.
lot,
Thank you.
Peter. I haven't had time to look at the new things. I'm really appreciating it.
Yeah.
Both
So
of you.
that one's very cool.
Mhm.
The gallery block now built into the gallery block is if and sometimes I get lost, like, wait a minute, where is that feature? So in the gallery block, up here in the toolbar, right now it just says add. It should, I think they should, but if I add, I can add an image. Sorry, it's the link for it. So if I'm on the gallery and see how there's links,
Mhm.
now instead of dealing with everything on a per image level in a gallery, now if you click on it, you can say link you can kind of say everything in this gallery that I put there, link images to attachment page, link images to media files, enlarge on click. Now this is a nice new feature, so enlarge on click, hit save.
Oh.
And now if I go to that, if I open up the page on the front end, my slow local thing, what that link will do now for all of these images. Wow. So now it should,
Lightbox. Yeah.
now it's a light box built
Wow.
into the
You know,
core.
did you see, Peter? I saw in one of the posts, it must have been
Yep.
changed. One of the posts they were saying it was going to also be a slider too, which it doesn't do that as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I didn't see. Let's check under gallery. So again, now with our new getting used to, so settings, the aspect, these are
This is
kind of,
not where this setting's not where you think it is.
yeah. If I wanted just to show, if you wanted, your images in your gallery to be, you can set that, they're all being handled that way. The width. Now let's go to style. You can set the background border. Yeah, I don't see that.
Right. So, because this one's another weird one too, where the actual link thing you just showed a second ago, but I saw a post someplace. Maybe they changed it, or maybe a bug or something popped up. There we go. Link it to attachment pages, enlarge on click, and all that. But I
Yeah.
saw something where they said it was originally going to be the ability also to make it a slider, but then I played it, so it's not doing that. So maybe that's something to come in the future.
Yeah,
So,
I don't.
So I
I
have a question. When
yeah.
it says attachment pages, can you put that in your metadata on the actual image and then that would be your attachment page? So like if you're looking for like one of the kitty cats and you're adding it, I don't know. I'm
no,
using
Yeah.
this is like
I wasn't able to get links to my clients' images, and it's a key function of their website that the images take you to a special page. So it would be great if that was finally working and we didn't have to key that in and it was just a
that
make
links
it
you to
so.
the media library attachment page. So when you uploaded this 4 kittens picture, that's what that is linking to. It's linking to actual permalink of the media library location of the attachment. That's what that is.
So it's not the link that you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somewhere in my brain it tells me the whole concept of having attachment pages is another thing that's going away, right?
Yeah, and the SEO thing too. Usually, if Bill was here, so I think people are going to discourage that, if I recall correctly.
Is that why they don't want it because of that?
Yeah.
Well, it's because you'd have to be careful. Like these weird pages that were like posts with just an image were getting indexed. So your site would have all of these weird pages that were just these attachment pages. So in general, people don't necessarily need them. I was going to show the cover block. I know you had that.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, go ahead, do that, and I'll take it back and I'll show the icon one.
Yeah, exactly. So when you do the cover block, one of the things you can now do is that you can embed a video and embed it from a URL. So in this case, this is just a YouTube video. Again, a nice thing that's now in a core block, and then you can set overlay opacity. You can even set, and I thought this was kind of interesting, the duotone does work on videos. Like if I wanted an orange and blue video, it's just an overlay over that image. But what's been added is, again, this ability to make that link work with work with a YouTube file.
What's interesting about that, my test, Peter, wasn't YouTube. I was using, I forget what it was.
I know Vimeo.
Vimeo, I think I was using, because one thing that's interesting though is yours is a better example because it's showing that the video is playing, I assume, and you're not seeing the YouTube controls around it, right? You're not seeing all of the YouTube noise.
That's really nice. Yeah. That's the best thing I've ever seen ever.
And it's looping. There's not a lot of control that it gives you, but I do think by default it's looping the video for you. At least mine was. Is that what did you notice that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing it does is for a split second, it shows like a pause. I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, it's just going to loop through this video with no controls and things like that, which makes sense because it's literally just
the background
of that group. You want to grab it back?
Yeah, let me grab it back. This one will be pretty quick too. So this is going to be icons with where do I have it in here? Oh, here we go. So this let's show the wording of it first. Icon block. So there's a limited number of icons that you can use right now, primarily the ones that come with WordPress core, like all those kind of the ones you use as like dash icons, however you wish to pronounce it. No third-party support of icons at this time. They said, I guess that might be coming in the future. So things like Font Awesome, that kind of stuff. So the way it works is I've already created one to make it look a little bit better than what I found. So by default, when you add one of these icons, let me remove it from, ungroup it. So by default, this is kind of what it looks like. Sorry. So there's this icon. So I add it, and it says insert as an SVG icon. So when you first add one, you have to choose, and this is your list of what you get. It's not that big of a list. There's some basics that are surprisingly missing, like a phone icon, So I kind of had to, because again, out of these were really not intended, I think, to be like, who's going to use this block meta icon for anything? So, the example I was trying to build is like, a customer contact information. So a house, an email, but there's no phone or, whatever.
Weird that there's no phone. I wonder why.
Yeah, well, I think it's just this is phase one, more to come, I guess. So you can control certain things like the sizing of it, the color, et cetera, the border. But by default, if you added this, and let's say I want to put an icon and put the business address here, by default, they're just, one is on each one's on a separate line. So if you want this kind of effect, what you need to do is group them together into, like in this case, I'm grouping them together into a group, and I want the group layout to be a row. So that's how you make them line up So it's, and then obviously I put some styling at this other group level. So it's a start, I guess. I do.
Yeah.
Can you add another SVG? Did you ever look into
I
that?
don't think you can at this point. I think it's just the ones that, yeah, it's just the ones that are available here.
Hmm.
So it seems like it's a beginning. What threw me a little bit too is these are literally icons. There's other blocks, like in Cadence, there's a block, I think it's also called an icon block, but that's, if I recall, is that, if you're nodding, Peter, but an icon block, I think, in Cadence, or maybe it was like Divi or whatever, but that's more of a combination of a picture and then text below it, and they call that whole thing, I think that's what
Yeah.
they call it, like an icon, you know what I mean? So that threw me a little bit when I did this. I'm like, oh, this is literally just the icon.
Yeah, and as similar to the visibility block by Nick Diego also has an icon block,
Yeah,
which allows you to grab an SVG and turn it into an icon.
yeah.
And it's great. And this is like one of those challenges where you're like, well, I have a plugin that does it. And they put it in core, but it starts off, instead of saying, let's just take Nick's code and put it in there.
It's
I know.
limited. Yeah, a lot of these things, and again, I'm off my soapbox. A lot of these things are, it's good, it's there, but I hope they're ever going to go back and fix it
Yeah.
before they move on to the AI stuff.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of time, I'm kind of looking, we just got like around 10, 15 minutes. So
Yeah.
CSS we covered. I don't know if you can do any of these, Peter. Breadcrumbs you've covered, video embed, gallery you've covered. Headings block, I'll show this real quick. There's nothing really that
Yeah.
interesting about it.
That's easy.
Yeah, but I guess I'm a little confused about this one too. So going back to WordPress 6 point, this is 6.9. We've already had a headings block. And in this case, I'm saying this is heading 2, right? And as you see, I can switch it here from heading 1 to 2 to 3 to 6. So for some reason, I don't quite understand. Now they've made them separate instead of having one heading block. Now you can still switch between them, I believe. So this is heading 7.
Wait, yeah. So now where they've moved it, basically moved it from the toolbar above to the options. So if you go to the right, the options, you can click on any of those.
Yeah, or you can still transform it to one of these guys.
And you can still transform it. So
I don't quite get this one. So it's like,
it's the same thing. They just moved it out of the top toolbar into the side toolbar.
no,
You
but
know
it's
why?
it's a separate block.
They're probably trying to get people to use H2, like use the headers instead.
Yeah.
And up above, nobody was using them probably.
But
I
I guess,
still have clients. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them to use an H.
but now they're taking up, like, again, not that I have this thing blown out. Now they're all separate blocks in here, like literally 7 blocks.
I see what you mean. They're
It's weird.
separate.
It's like, yeah, why are they all separate? They all do the same thing. You know, there's
I didn't even look there. Isn't that funny?
that's what threw me. Yeah, I mean, I get what
Yeah,
you're saying
I'm with
about it.
you.
I'm like, this is strange. They're all like, now they added 7 blocks that we've already had. So
Version 7.1 will make it all one block.
So the only last one I really had is just, again, a reminder, the minimum version of PHP, once again, is going up to 7.4, which probably doesn't affect most people. I think most people are probably at that level now, but you never know. You may have a client that's on a lower level, so be prepared for that. The one, I'm not sure if I even want to show it, to be honest. I could show it maybe if people are really bored. The whole the navigation overlays on mobile. Did you play around with that at all, Peter? Or
I didn't, because
I have a quick demo for it if people want to just see it real quick. Let me show it. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you should, because we do have people use
and I'm gonna show it in a place where you normally probably wouldn't do it. Oops. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to do it in just a page. But normally, you think about this is your navigation menu, right? You do this in the header, but it doesn't matter because you can do this in any place. So I'm going to add a navigation block here, navigation block, and by default, it's taken my main menu. So if I save this right now, this is really all that this new feature is doing. So if I look at this in a mobile view. By default, the mobile menu, it's a hamburger icon menu, but you click it and it's just kind of ugly, not much styling to it. So what they've added in 7.0 is the ability now to actually do some styling to this. So in this case, it's saying, all right, I want a mobile, I'm going to create a template for it. So this is again the whole templating thing, and you do see these templates. This is the weird part. You do see the templates back on the back end where the full site editor is too. So that's
Yeah.
it sort of flashed, for a second if you saw it. So I'm going to be really lazy again. I'm just going to pick one of these. It comes with the theme comes with some styled templates like the ugly pumpkin orange. So let's say I want to do, or I'll do something better. I'll do this one. And at this point, I can actually change this around. This is a default one that came in, so maybe I don't want these buttons in here. So I'll get rid of the whatever reason I don't want buttons on my menu. So I'll just delete that. And if I save it now, it's gonna save it as my own like custom template thing. See, it's saved as a template part and it's saved on this page. So if I look at this menu again now, and I click on it, there I've got this new styled mobile menu.
Huh.
It's okay.
Yeah, this is
It's
again,
all right.
to clarify, it is the mobile menu overlay for, and I guess you can, I haven't tried to see if you can put it on, some, it's interesting how like even computer, PC, full screen are using the overlays. But it's basically for a full site editing block theme where you're putting an overlay mobile menu and now it's built in. This was partly, as I understand it, adopted from what was done in the Ali theme, which has become
Oh,
a
okay.
quite famous by Mike McAllister block theme that added all kinds of functionality, including the whole being able to edit the overlay.
It
The
definitely
best,
it has a feel of you're in the full, because this to me now feels like I'm in the full site editor, even though I'm seeing like a
yeah,
block navigation. But the thing is, if you've ever used a plugin or you have a theme like Cadence or something that has its own way to style mobile menus, what this is lacking is some of that finesse again. Like it doesn't give you the ability to say, oh, I want this thing to slide in or slide up or slide, it doesn't give you that level of control.
yeah,
I think it maybe gives you the ability to control the icon, the open close icon. I'm not positive. I didn't play around with it that much. So it's like we said before, it's a good beginning to something. I
yeah.
just I kind of do I think this would replace what I use like Cadence's mobile menu? Probably not, but you know.
Ray, I'm going to grab the screen real
Yeah,
fast.
sure.
We're
Yep.
almost done. And
Lightning round. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that we speak of some of the things. You can see my screen now?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the blocks, the new blocks, cover block. Yep. The heading variation. Interesting. The poetry block. It used to be the verse block. It's now the poetry block, and it has a little bit more styling to it. In case that interests you, under typography is kind of interesting. Like being able to set like paragraph indents, paragraph columns is kind of interesting to me because the whole fact that columns don't wrap, but if you have a paragraph now, you can say this paragraph block is in 3 columns and it will wrap. One thing that you might want to try is making a paragraph that has, control enters for not to create a new paragraph, and that could wrap within a box. So it could be kind of an effective way to make wrapping within a box. That's the paragraph columns. Columns themselves don't do that, so that's kind of neat. The query loop refinement, if you're somebody who builds query loops, one of the things that you can now do is you can exclude taxonomies, which is kind of nice if you want to say, hey, only show these. You can say show everything except for that, and I do that with sometimes when you have a screen where you want to, if you have a category that you just want to show on that particular screen, you would use the include exclude. So they're adding more things to that. Pasting color values, again, a little thing like I didn't even know I couldn't do that. The dimension support, again, under styles and all, is now being, it's becoming more and more a universal way of dealing with the width, the height, the dimension presets, things like that. The block theme only edition, I just want to make sure that we didn't forget
the overlays. Yeah.
The overlays, breadcrumbs in theme part. So again, we kind of touched on a number of these things there. And then
AI.
we don't really need to
Save
get
the best for
AI.
last. You can even show AI. Come on.
Yeah. So the idea behind the AI right now is that there's a connector, so everything will work. I think on our next meetup, we'll talk about what's coming. And because there is an AI experiments plugin that you can use right now that has some really very nice easy to use AI tools without like making your whole site AI stuff. Like I I will a good alt text generator for images. You know, like we show you how when you set up the connectors and then you put in the AI experiments before it goes full into live. It goes into an upcoming version.
Did you show, Peter, maybe I missed it. Did you show the AI connector screen at all?
Yeah, let me show it. So get this
Maybe I was
toolbar out of my
moderating.
way. Go here, and let me go here, and let me
Probably
go.
something at 99%.
Okay, and connector. Um,
and it's also under what's
settings connectors.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting here. So yeah, who can you talk to? Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, so ChatGPT. What's your it'll add that connector. You put your API key. Now you're managing that in one place. And by the way, there's a little bit pro and con too, because what's the control to make sure that some plugin doesn't start using one of your AI things through the connector? I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but there is an ease of getting started. Like if you have your OpenAI, you go get, and it's nice because it says, okay, get your API key. You know, where do I get my API key? It has the link.
Do you need a paid account to do this, or can you do it from
I don't think you do. I think there's a level where it's free. I say that having a paid account, so I haven't run into that being an issue. And then from there, you know, one thing we'll show later is install the AI plugin, which then gives you some of that functionality right in, like when you're building a post and you need help writing a headline or an excerpt or alt text for an image, things like that. So that I think we're going to cover probably next one, because we're starting our summer.
This is a good segue into, unless there's some final things. This is a sneak preview of the summer. So it's the summer of AI.
The summer of AI.
Part 2. We did last summer AI. Now we'll see where we are.
Yeah.
So would your next meeting be like the 16th of June, or is it going to be?
Yeah,
we're going to aim for that, like the 3rd, the 16th, or whatever the week after.
Yeah, we try to do the Tuesdays. So where are we now? Don't quote me on this. But it's probably like the 3rd Tuesday, the 16th, I think. Am I around that day? Yeah, most likely 16th.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do a lot of that stuff. So again, tomorrow, look out for it. WordPress 7 drops. So we'd love to hear, you know, if you're on our Facebook group, your experience with it. If there's anything that we missed, anything that has changed, you know. But it looks like, I mean, it's a bundle of stuff. I mean, there's a couple interesting things there, a little bit of polish. But yeah, we'll have to see when the collaboration, real-time collaboration comes back, if ever. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone. Again,
yeah.
Nice seeing everyone. And yeah, next month we're back to our summer series. So it's kind of more wide open, and you know, we'll play around with whatever's interesting, and bring us your websites, bring us any questions you have there too. So have a good night, everyone. Take care. See you.
Yeah. Thank you for getting us started. Bye.
Sure.
Bye.